One of us is Greg Phillinganes. The other one, Peter G. You're watching his show.
Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad. Divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.
Hey everybody, it's that time again for the Peter G. Show. Divorce and single parenting, not so easy to talk about once in a while, but I do, because as you know, I'm the guy who likes to bitch about everything. It feels good. It's good therapy. We get it out. We talk to people from all walks of life. Today, the magical winds have blown us down into North Hollywood, California again, where I am getting ready to talk to an old and special friend who I didn't even think I'd be talking to, but that's how you just realize that life is just life. And it's going to be an interesting afternoon, and I'm really stoked about it because you just never know what you're going to get with our show. We start off with a lot of the tough stuff, but we always end up seeing the rainbow at the end of the trail, and that's what it's all about, because I definitely don't bring you a bowl of cherries, all out of cherries. They rotted a long time ago, but life is good. Every day I wake up, I count my blessings. So today we're back in a place that I'm really happy to be at. I don't know why or how, but just again, the winds have blown us here. Steakhouse Studio has hosted us again this time to bring in another, in my opinion, A-list musician, biggest of the big, but yet we're all just people. So without further ado, I want to say hi again, which I haven't seen in many years, and it was just a nice welcome, but I'm going to say hi to my friend, Mr. Greg Phillinganes.
Hello.
Long time.
Been a while. The last time we saw each other for any, long period of time was you were building the rig that I designed for the Toto tour.
I did.
You did, and I was very proud of that, and you did an excellent job. And because I never really had a rig before, certainly not one that I designed.
Right.
We went through this whole. You helped me out with everything, and
right.
and we went through this whole process. And you told me you were working on it, and I remember coming into the room and seeing the finished product, and boy, was it pretty.
It was big.
It was big.
You gave me. I had 2 weeks to do that.
Only 2 weeks?
It was crazy. We didn't sleep, but thank God you had, and again, I don't do this, I like getting my hands dirty. I mess with motorcycles, I do all that kind of stuff. But,
yeah.
But doing that is kind of something, I wouldn't want to do it for a living, but I don't mind doing it once in a while because I like the creativity.
Well, then why did you say yes?
Because you've looked at me and said, you don't understand, I got to have this.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, out of the blue, I get a call because I didn't know you were watching. We just kind of recently generated, right? Because again, I stepped away, I've shifted gears, things are going in this direction now, TV interviews, because I went through some hell that I kind of just stepped away, I had to, it was killing me. And all of a sudden you chime in and go, dude, how come you haven't asked me? And I go,
right, it was on Facebook,
yeah,
right?
and I said, Greg, you're too friggin' squeaky clean. That's where everything just came to a halt, and we had this conversation.
How naive of you. How very naive of you.
Again, as far as I knew, you were happily married, and you had a little girl, and I didn't know nothing. So we're going to step it back. Okay?
Yeah.
Because apparently I need to step it back even beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we're going to blow through it, but the bottom line is because I don't care why, but it's how you're doing through everything, okay?
Yeah.
Because you look good. But that
you.
doesn't mean that inside isn't, wasn't a firestorm,
Oh, absolutely.
So let's step it back. When I met you, you were already married. How many times have you been married?
Okay. This is now the 4th and final time that I have been married. I've been married 4 times. The first time I was just too young.
Okay. No kids, right?
No kids.
Good.
Package deal.
Good.
but they're lovely, and now they're old people and they have kids of their own, and they're wonderful.
Okay.
And but I was too young. I was 23.
I get it.
Wait, it's no business.
Can't even imagine.
No.
You were doing music then too, right?
A little bit, yeah. I was, I was with Stevie Wonder.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was doing some things. Yeah. No, actually, I had just left his band.
Okay.
And like the first thing I did after leaving his band in January of '79 was I got married. And I was 23. And then later that year in '79, I went to join George Benson's band for his summer fall tour. And that's when he was flaming hot, just
right. Sure.
But yeah, that's when I got married the first time. Second time, so the first time I was too young. Second time I was just too stupid.
Okay.
I was incredibly stupid.
Girls you meet while you were traveling, or
no? I met the second one when I was with Eric Clapton. I was touring with him, and I met her through. I met her. I'm not going to go into that. So I met her, and a series of events happened, and I had a perfect opportunity to walk away from that relationship based on some stupid stuff. But I was so desperate for having some kind of stable relationship. My intentions were good, but I relied on my own strengths, my own instincts, which I realized years later don't work. So I fabricated all these reasons as to why I should marry this woman, and none of them had anything to do with reality.
Because being in the position that you're in this music thing, you have a lot of great introductions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? It's not just the music thing. I mean, people say that, but it's not really that.
You get out there. It's it's easier to be. Look, don't tell. I mean, come on.
Well, that there is some element of that. Yes.
It's like he's on the stage. It's much more easier to meet people than it is if you were a guy who worked a job at H&R, block and went home and.
Okay, I'll give you that. There is an element of accessibility, but that only makes things actually more difficult.
You're right, but that's how it initially starts off. I mean, you get these, I mean, that's the only reason I joined bands was to meet girls.
Well, of course. I mean, is there any other reason?
No, there isn't, because I could without I could, as long as there's sex and drugs, I can do without the rock and roll. But now I don't even want to.
Hey, what can I tell you?
Yeah.
So that was that.
No kids?
No.
Okay, good.
Another package deal.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even in my stupidity, I didn't go that far.
How long after the second till you finally, because I met your third wife, correct?
You met my third wife, and that happened. Actually, that took a while.
Okay.
Because I really made a point to try to change my approach.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought this one out?
Yeah.
Or you thought this one out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I really did.
Okay.
And we spent a lot of time talking, more than we did anything else, and that was for about 2 years.
Before you got married?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the elements of that relationship were different than the prior two.
Okay.
Certain details were different. Well, she was younger, first of all.
Okay.
And didn't have any kids, and as a result of all the talking we did, I believed that she was the one, and she would be a great mother.
Okay.
To my child or children.
Because you're thinking kids.
Yeah, we went that far.
How many years? What year was this you got married now?
I'm thinking 2000.
2000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2000.
And
It was 2000.
okay,
Yeah.
because you had your daughter in 2005, 6?
Oh, five. Yeah.
Okay.
She is one of the best things that ever happened to me. My daughter, she's absolutely extraordinary. Everybody says that their kids are.
You have.
the
If you
best.
don't, there's something wrong.
No,
with
no.
you.
Everybody says that, but mine really, really is. I just,
I know, I get it.
she just is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And
That's why you're here.
yeah, no, she's really.
You get what you put into it.
Well, God willing.
Yeah.
But the problem, well, that was in jeopardy because I ended up leaving her mother, you know, it was based on a series of events. Things did not work out, and there were issues on both. There were issues with both of us.
I get it.
There were issues
Takes two.
with me, absolutely.
And it's
There
a
were
tough
issues
life. You know, gone here, gone back, coming.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to be the reason. And I get that all the time. Well, you were gone a lot,
Well,
but it's not. That I don't look at that as. I don't use that as a crutch. You know, I think that if the relationship is solid and where it's supposed to be, you know, being away, you know, you will work on understanding what needs to be done to maintain that even when you're apart. Does it make things a little more difficult? Yeah, you know, but it's a reality because, you know, if you're trying to maintain the life or the lifestyle or just trying to provide for your family, you have to do.
Well, that's because that's what you do.
That's what you do, and so you're going to be. It's going to take that.
Sometimes I would think that being gone, it makes it easier to have a relationship because you're not around each other as much. So when you are home, everything is great, and then you're gone again.
Well, there is the
Go either
absence. That's one side of it. The absence makes the heart grow fonder concept. On the other hand, if you have children, when you leave, the mother and the children establish their own routine, and so you are the outsider when you come back. You end up being the visitor. And so, depending on how long you're gone, you could end up being called Uncle Daddy. Okay. So, you know,
when you come, okay, let's go to your daughter. When you come home, because again, I only saw your daughter one time when she was 3, and she was already taking piano lessons. I remember that. When you come home, how was she with you? Did she miss you? Was she daddy's girl? Was she mommy's girl? Split? I mean, you know how?
No, she missed me.
Okay.
And it was good because, you know, it was also the beginning of FaceTime.
Okay. Yeah.
And back then it was iChat, you know,
yeah.
and so that helped. And she did come out on the road with me, you know, at certain times. You know, I would invite my wife, you know, and her, and you know, when I was touring with, sometimes with Toto, sometimes with Boz. So, you know, we took advantage of as many opportunities as possible.
What year? When you're finally starting to say, okay, enough is enough?
It was things
10?
Yeah, it was 2010, but things were tanking.
Okay.
At a consistent pace before then, but you know, things really came to a head in 2010, and I was at a very low point. I was at a very low point, and at that lowest place, I started seeing, you know, the woman who I am currently married to. Now, the timing of it would suggest that I left my wife for my current wife, but that wasn't the case.
Just compensating, kind of.
She was the impetus for sure, but she is not the reason why I left.
Okay, yeah, you were having trouble prior to that.
I was gonna go.
Okay.
Where I was mentally and emotionally, I believed that I would not be as good of a father if I stayed. Kids know when there's a problem.
Sure, sponges.
They know it. Do not be fooled or deceived, they know it. And, you know, to try to stay together for the sake of the kids is certainly something that should be, you know, the first move, and you know, it should be done to whatever extent possible. But if it's really not working out, you are more of a detriment to your. It's more of a detriment to your kids.
Yeah, they get affected by all of this.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're leaving. What kind of hell? I mean, was it a kind of a civil breakup? Or,
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay.
No.
Okay. So
no,
so
no,
there's
it was,
they're
it
around.
was so not that.
Okay.
No, it was,
well, just
it was
gotta,
bad.
Yeah. Okay.
It was bad. It was very bad.
Courts?
Because oh yeah.
Battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know, she didn't see it coming. You know, my wife at that time didn't see it coming.
She thought everything was great.
Well,
or she didn't think you'd leave.
She didn't think I'd leave. She didn't think I'd leave because of our child.
Right.
Well, especially because of that. And so, you know, to a great extent, she was blindsided, and she didn't see it coming. And then to look up and see that I am now with someone else, it made it easier for her to. She was able to nail. She was able to, you know, to nail a reason for it. You know, she was able to attach the reason, a reason
to why you left.
To why I left.
Sure.
And
you got a girlfriend.
Well, not just that. You have a much younger, white, and she's a singer. Oh, that's the trifecta right there.
I gotta write that down.
So, but that what I'm saying is,
I know.
She's saying that, you know, I married this younger white girl who's a singer, so now she's an opportunist.
Yeah, like you never.
And so the only reason why she hooked up with me is because, you know, of what she thought I could do for her career, not realizing that she already had a career.
Yeah.
So when a woman is scorned and she's able to attach a reason why,
yeah,
you will suffer.
Yes.
For a long
time.
Yeah, for a long time. The only thing worse than that, emotionally to the ex-wife, is when you leave and there's no one else in the picture. That really jacks him up, because now it's like, oh, hang on, he's not even seeing anybody and he just left. So now, but now you don't suffer as much for that because there's nothing to attach. You know, there's no one to put the blame on. And but it wasn't the case with me, and so it was a very long and hard battle. But there is good news. The good news is that we're on a much more, we have a much more stable relationship.
You talk? You guys talk?
We've been not only talking, it's now to the point where very recently we celebrated my twin boy's second birthday. We had a little party. And Eliana couldn't make it because she's, you know, fighting a fever, which she's still going through right now. Yeah. And so she couldn't come. So we said, you know, I texted her mother and said, well, you know, can we stop by and bring a little bit of the party to her? And she said, yeah. So the plan was to because my wife said, let's save her a big piece of cake. Let's take it over there and give it to her. I said, great. So went over there with the plan of just giving her that and her maybe, you know, looking through the car and seeing her brothers and saying bye-bye, you know. So we get there and we tell her that and we give her the cake, and she's, you know, she's standing, she and her mother are standing out front. And all of a sudden her mother goes, would you all like to come in?
That's a first?
Yeah.
But what are you thinking when that happened? Is an ambush?
No.
I'm kidding.
No, I mean, after we all collectively picked up our jaws from the ground, because we obviously were in shock.
That was very nice.
No, it was monumental.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you can only wish for that kind of relationship.
That was huge. Now, this was 7 years later.
Yes.
But it's incredible because I never thought it would happen. So it was monumental. And I told her, even after we left, I called her when I got back home and thanked her again.
Yeah.
And it was huge, and it was fantastic for our daughter.
Sure.
as much as it was for my wife and her mom, who lives with us and helps with the boys and the boys themselves. She didn't just invite us in. She went and got a basket of little percussion toys, and she's on the floor trying to entertain my boys. And it's just like, wow, this is fantastic.
Does your wife have any backing? Now, again, I don't care about why the divorce, but now you're saying how all of a sudden what made you think, why do you think she just flipped that switch and decided to embrace and quit, tired of arguing?
Because, it was an evolution. It's a process, but there are things that helped. Probably the main thing that helps is that she has a boyfriend.
Okay.
That she's engaged to.
Okay. She can still be a bitch. Mine is.
Yeah, okay. But,
I mean, God bless you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wish.
Yeah.
We still text. 8 years.
Yeah.
Text.
Yeah.
My daughter's older now. I can talk through her.
Yeah.
But it sucks. But go ahead. I'm jealous.
Well, listen. Just as you're jealous of me, I was jealous of Luke. No, really, because I heard of all we talked about all the hell he was going through with his ex, and I thought, oh God, it's never going to change with you, And then he told me one day, hey man, we're cool and we're so cool. We call each other, we hang out together, and she's not rigid with the visitation, and if I need to change something, I just call her and say, hey, what do you think about this? Is this okay? She goes, yeah, no problem. And she does the same for me. And I go, wow, I'm really jealous of you.
As nutty as, and you know how he's, Luke's, you never know what you're going to get with Luke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I actually do.
You do? Okay. Well, actually, you're right, kind of right. But that's still,
Yeah.
But he had a lot of philosophy behind what he said on the interview I did with him, which, you got to, remember you married that woman because you loved each other. I keep trying to express this to my ex that, if they would only I wouldn't be so pissed off if they said, you know what, it was a great 8.5, 9 years, and then the last 3 or 4 just went to hell. But they make it like it was hell from the beginning, and that's why, that's that anger.
It's complete anger. And the thing is, even in my anger, I had to be reminded that, yes, I did love her, and which is why I married her. Yes. I thought she was the one, and there were things about her that I thought were terrific. I'm sorry that things broke down to the point of me having to leave and the effect it had on our daughter, but God had his hand on our daughter because, early on, her mother tried to manufacture this trauma that she claimed our daughter was going through when it was in fact she was the one that was going through the trauma. And I when it first happened, she insisted that I come over and tell Eliane myself, and I said all right. So I go over there. I explained. I said, Daddy and Mommy are not going to be together anymore. This is very, very difficult. It's very tough and very sad. But Daddy, this is not your fault. Daddy and Mommy, both Daddy and Mommy love you very much. And we're going to take care of you. And this is not your fault. Daddy's not going to live here anymore, but he's going to be in a different place. And you can see Daddy whenever you want. As a matter of fact, you're going to have your own room with your name on the door. And when I told her that, she's like, really? And then she started designing it. She says, well, can I?
There's the show business.
Can I make it look how I want it to look, or something like that? And I go, yeah. I said, what colors do you want the letters to be? She goes, pink.
Yeah.
She started going.
5. Everything's pink.
And she, we talked about that, and so I was trying to offer her a bit of hope. And while I'm doing this, her mother is just
rolling her eyes.
Rolling, not her eyes. She went into this deep, bawling thing, and just it's really overblown, and
it's pretty much the norm.
And I will never forget this. I will never forget this. Her mother actually went upstairs and just started really loudly bawling, and we could both hear it. And she left me and Eliane alone, and I actually remember looking at Eliane and her doing this to me.
Oof.
It was very heavy, you know.
So, okay, so you got one that's an old soul.
Very.
Good.
And she is extraordinary. And when I say God has had his hand on her, I'm serious, because he brought her through, he protected her emotionally.
Yeah, right. Didn't screw
protected her emotionally for her to still be able to thrive in school and in piano and in gymnastics and everything else she was doing. And to this day, you know, Eliane has, you know, I waited for about almost a year before I introduced her to my girlfriend,
right.
You know, at that time, because I wanted to establish my own relationship with her.
Right.
After, you know, immediately leaving her mother. I didn't want to just say, hey, I left your mother, but look who I have now. You know, I did not want to do that.
Right.
And at the time, Eliane was really, she was into Mr. Bubble. I'd give her a bath with Mr. Bubble.
Yeah.
So like I developed the character of Mr. Bubble, you know, and she would say, do Mr. Bubble. And I'd say, hey, Eliane, it's Mr. Bubble. How you doing? Good to see you again. And so I explained to her, using Mr. Bubble, that Daddy had a girlfriend.
Well,
I said, hey, you know Mr. Bubble, you like Mr. Bubble? She goes, yeah. I said, well, you know what? Mr. Bubble has a girlfriend.
The plot thickens.
Yeah. And I go, not only does Mr. Bubble have a girlfriend, but Daddy has a girlfriend. I mean, I went through this whole thing, you know, this whole story. And she's like, oh, really? And so I eased it in, you know, very gradually. And then eventually when they did meet, she could not have been more loving. It was unbelievable, man. I mean,
like a puppet show, only without the puppet.
Yeah, like well, except the puppet was real.
Yeah.
And she met her, and she just was so. We were sitting there having lunch, man, and she actually leaned over to me and said, because she had a birthday party coming up. She goes, "Can she come to the party?" And I go, "Well, we'll see. I'm not sure, but we'll see." And then she leaned over to me again and said, "Can she be one of the presents?" I mean, it was
really?
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. You know?
Well, see that again.
So sweet.
It's really safe to say then you're one of the luckier of the bunch that she has fared so well, because unfortunately,
no kids,
you've seen it.
Oh,
this is what scared me. This is why we're here today.
Yeah.
I don't know, lately some of the interviews have been going really well. There's a lot of positive, but there's so many poor kids. This is why I'm so, because obviously you're a proactive dad. When you're home, you were there.
Yeah.
Whatever, give me, I'll take her any second, any time. She could stay. It wasn't about the fight. A lot of people fight to win. Nobody wins.
No, I was fighting for my child.
Right. Did she go for? Was she fighting for custody, or was she open to you?
Well,
saying,
we settled on joint custody, but it just never felt that way. It never felt joint, you know. And I had, there were certain things that I had to fight for, and I paid for it dearly. Like I had to fight to take Eliane to D.C. with me for a gig I was doing at the White House, where I knew she'd be able to meet the President of the United States, and she fought me on it.
Because what? She's too little?
No, because she just it was
school or
no, she just didn't want her to go.
What was the reason?
Dude, she didn't want her to go. That's it.
Okay.
That is the reason.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't anything rational.
Did she go?
She ended up going.
Good.
You know, I had to go to court. But, you know, and the judge saw the whole, you know, absurdity of it and went.
Unreasonable.
Yeah.
Again, but you had to go to court.
Yeah.
Did lawyers?
Oh, yeah. But you know, the lawyer that I had at the time was, and they cost me, I can't tell you how much money.
Yeah, I believe
it. But for that particular situation, my lawyer said, you know what, this is on me.
Really?
Yeah.
I love my lawyer, but I didn't have.
No, because he was just so infuriated that it would go this far about a freaking trip to D.C.
Yeah.
I'm working, and you get to meet the President of the United States. It's like, come on, man.
But you had to fight for it.
I had to fight for it.
Welcome to my world. I mean, although it gets easier as the years go down.
You know what? It will get easier. And whatever hell you are going through, I'm telling you, if it happened to Luke and if it happened to me, it will happen to you. It will happen.
Look, I've had it from day one. When you're first going through the hell, I had other buddies, drum tech friend of mine, and he's like, Peter, I know this sucks, but it'll get better.
Yeah.
And eventually.
You hear that, and but in your mind you're thinking, you know what, I'm really tired of hearing that shit, because I don't believe it, and I get it, man, I get it.
I just, again, I've said it a million times, and that's why I do the show. My daughter fared well. Like, you watch the show enough, you're going to know. I am so lucky that she is old soul, same thing, and that's why I've been bumping in. You can relate. If I say it, just picture yours, paint her a different color, and it's the same girl. You know what I mean? Our souls are our souls. And I'm so fortunate that, because that's all that mattered to me. It's like, I'll live. You know what I mean? It sucked. You know, it took a lot out of me, still does at times, but we brought her into this world.
Right.
And she doesn't deserve it. They don't deserve to pay the price.
We have, now it's our responsibility to make sure she's protected.
Not everybody takes up that responsibility, though.
Well, you have to, and if you don't, you're just irresponsible, and you are killing your kids.
Yeah, and that's why you're on this show, because you're, when I said, because honestly, I didn't know some of this. I didn't know most of this stuff, and that's why I said, don't say a thing.
Oh, there's a whole lot.
Well, I didn't know, bro. But the thing was, I said, if you come on this show, it's because you have the guts enough to open up, to say, like, you know what, again, we're all just people. And I don't care if you make $100 a week or $1 million a week, and if you are the president of the United States, or if you're just some guy who works at a factory, it's the same pain. If you love your children, you know. And I love my daughter. I waited till I was 43 years old to have a baby. I mean, you know, and she changed me the instant she came out, you know, in a good way. I mean, I wasn't bad or anything like that, but it just opened up some kind of vault that I never knew I had, right?
Yeah, emotionally, that's what happens.
Yeah, and I live and breathe for her, you know, and rightfully so, because she's doing very well. But a lot of kids, I know people that got some messed up situations because of what they've done, and they didn't realize it, and their intentions were good, but that's why we do this show. It's like, because some people just need to hear things because they got nobody to talk to, nobody to lean on. Therapy and therapists and psychiatrists, they all cost a fortune, you know, and your family sometimes doesn't want to hear about this stuff either. Yeah. They get tired of it. They go, oh, God, here we go again. You know, the he said, she said, and again, it's been told many times, blood is thicker than water. Sometimes even family from her side or his side that loved you take sides. And you're out.
About it. And you're out. As well as friends, no question about it.
Yeah, and you lose, you end up losing off some of that stuff, you know.
Yeah, and in my marriage, you know, to my current wife, we suffered a lot in the beginning because of that.
Yeah, it takes guts.
Because of that scrutiny. It was terrible.
But now your daughter is 11?
Yeah.
Okay. When's her birthday? What month?
June.
June. So she's okay. So she's going to be 12.
Yeah.
She's in sixth grade.
Yeah.
And grades are good, everything's going good?
Spectacular. Well, again, a main reason for that was that we had her going to in elementary and in preschool, we had her going to a Christian private school. Right. And that really did wonders for her work ethic.
Getting going.
And her learning. Structure and all that.
Yeah.
And so now she's in a public school because I can't afford a private school at this point. Her grades are great. She's, you know, just consistently great. Good. And, you know, her gymnastics, which she loves.
That's what she likes to do?
That's her passion.
She's still doing piano?
Yeah, and she likes piano, but she loves gymnastics.
I get that. I got those.
And now she loves ukulele. Yeah.
Well, you know, it is a hit at every party.
Yeah, and she's so sweet with it. She actually wrote me a song.
Really?
On ukulele, and the chorus is "I love you," and it
awesome.
Yeah.
See, mine's not that outgoing. I mean, she's horse nuts, and she's taking piano still, but it's the horses. She'll live in a barn. She could sleep on a horse. Yeah, cool. It is cool. I mean, because her compassion is through the roof. She wants to be a vet or whatever. But the thing is, it's great that they have a focus, you know. And
yes.
Being that we came from music, of course, why wouldn't you want your daughter to play piano? I wanted my daughter to play piano.
I don't. It's not necessary with me because I get that all the time. It's like, well, is she going to be the next you? Well, I don't know.
But it's good. It's a great education.
And I get that with my twin boys too. You know, what are they going to? Well, they're going to do what their passion is.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to expose them to it. I play whenever I get the chance, and they like to sit on my lap and hit the keys, you know.
I just think it's good for the brain. I mean,
No, it totally is. The exposure to that, music,
yeah,
the arts,
so little.
and everything, you know. It's everything, you know, outdoors, you know, aquariums, zoos, you know, exposing to everything. You know?
And that's the thing. But again, it's money, you know, has a lot to do with a lot of things. And I tell people, it's not about if taking them to, because see, when we first separated, my ex was going to Disneyland like it was going out of style. And it's like, I didn't have that kind of money. I was too busy paying attorneys.
Yeah.
You know, and my parents, my mother was getting ill. I'm flying back and forth to Florida. But we played, we went to Ventura Harbor, and there's these big open grounds there. She played with a 15-cent balsa wood glider I got from a bank.
For hours, right?
For hours, and we're worrying about spending money, but that's just what we do because you want to be happy. You're feeling funky.
No, it's well, yeah, exactly.
It's
but
us.
It's a false. It's you know. False
they don't. My daughter doesn't judge me for my money,
no,
and, you know, and thank God. Otherwise, I'd be cooked goose.
Yeah.
You know, but
obviously I want to get her. I want to provide for her things she needs.
Sure.
As well as my other children too. But you know, I have. These twin boys, they just turned 2, man, and they eat like teenagers now.
Okay, so thank God, I guess, you know, so your daughter's faring well. You got married, again, for your 4th time now.
And final.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. Because, that's got to get, you know what?
Hey, Peter.
I think you got it right.
It's final.
Final. Look, believe me, I want to make
You know why, Peter?
Why?
Because this shit's expensive.
All right. Look, I hear you. I don't know how you survived 2, 3.
The grace of God.
Okay.
In my ignorance and my stupidity, it was the grace of God.
I understand that you learn and things get a little better, just like even divorcing. As you divorce, you get better and do it a little bit, hopefully more sensibly. But okay, so you got married what year now? For the 4th and final time.
Peter, by the way, it's the final time.
Okay, so but how old are your 2 twins?
They're 2.
They're 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the thing was, when we actually spoke on the phone a few weeks ago, you told me, "Are you sitting down?" You know. Now I sat down because I was honestly scared you were going to tell me something bad.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I've never had anybody tell me, "Are you sitting down?" in a while.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
And then you told me you had 2 little boys, which was okay. Because I was really, I'm telling you, I was sweating it because I did not want to hear anything bad.
No, that's not bad.
What are their names?
Very good. Their names are Lennon and Lorne.
Handful?
No, 2 handfuls.
Okay.
Lennon Gray and Lauren Ellington, and because you know I wanted them to have cool, strong names that they could still come home from school with their dignity intact, and not get their ass beat for having these whack names. You know, because people name their kids now what you used to name your pet.
Give me an example.
Like Ripcord, or you know. Button, or you know, like things that just whack names that people that used to name their pets and now they name human beings. It's like
I know you wanted to go further than that.
No,
you're thinking it out really.
There are real-time examples. There are real examples, but I can't.
I know there are, and I was hoping you'd spit one out.
No,
you know?
I can't do it.
Damn, where's my boy gone?
No, because everybody knows who they are. And
okay, all right. So okay, but life now.
Yeah.
Okay, happy.
I'm very. I am happy. I am happy in the content sense. I'm content.
I mean, life's still challenges. I'm not.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah.
But
we've been through it. We've been
give and
through
take.
We've been through it.
But you don't quit.
Everything. No, because this time I am committed to fighting for it, because it's worth fighting for.
But it takes 2 to commit to fighting for it.
Yes, and she is too.
Okay, because I'm telling you, it takes 2 to get married, only 1 to get divorced.
That's very true.
I learned that.
Yeah, and she's just as committed. She has invested every aspect of her life into this relationship, and so by virtue of that, that says that she's willing to fight for it, because in every way she's invested in this relationship, and she has willingly gone through the firestorm to stay with me. She has basically, abandoned her own career as a singer, because she can't get work.
Now she's mommy.
Well, now that she's mommy, but not just that. I mean, people won't hire her because they think because she's with me that she doesn't want to, or she doesn't need to.
Really?
Yeah. It's a whole other thing, man.
Is she still available to sing?
Yeah.
She's still available to sing, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hire her.
Yeah.
Quincy, she's still hireable. All right?
You know, but
Greg don't mind.
Yeah, I really don't.
Yeah, he
really
can, you know, he'll sit home
But,
for babysit an hour.
yeah.
You know? You have to remember. I looked at my ex, and there was all those years when we would have died for each other, and then at the end of the day, we wanted to kill each other.
Yeah. War of the Roses.
I know that because we as adults, you know, we can deal with, but the children don't deserve to get damaged.
They don't.
And this is where I'm at, man. I just love kids. I'll probably, you know, I would do it again. I mean, because now your daughter's so grown, it's like you can't. We were just holding them, you know.
I know.
Well, now you got the boys.
And I see things have changed with them already. I see why people want to have more babies, but
Yeah.
babies are not Cabbage Patch dolls.
I
They're
know.
real human beings, and you know, and it makes me realize that Michael knew what he was talking about when he said, if you can't feed the baby, then don't have the baby.
I get it.
That wasn't just a little, you know, rhyming thing. That he meant that. So
Last night, I wanted to, there's a picture, and I know I have it on hard drives, but I thought I had it in print. Me and you in Merida, Mexico, at a restaurant, and you have a cigar, and we're just, okay, and I have a small handful of pictures, you know, and I wanted to just, and so while I'm looking for that picture, can't find it because I got boxes of actual photos. I'm going through and I'm seeing my daughter from, and I'm looking at all her pictures, you know what I mean? And I'm going, holy crap, this little girl, and then the Easter, and Easter after Easter, and you know, tons of Easter baskets and this and that, and stuff that, like, you know, she doesn't remember, but I do, and it was worth every second, you know. Here's what we're going to do. First of all, I appreciate you coming and doing this. It takes a lot of balls to come and do this. I say it again. My show's pretty mild. I mean, sometimes it's going to get heavier because if I get somebody that's sitting in a chair next to me that's a shit and you know, that wants to come on but isn't the guy that I normally have, or woman, because I'm not all about guys. I'm about women, men, whatever, whoever gives a shit enough to talk about this to help other people get through it because they love their kids, you know, and they love themselves enough to say, you know what, this is what happened to me, but this is how I got through it. It could be devastating. You could have, now you're not really, you've never been a drinker, have you? Yeah, I don't even remember if we had, no, ever?
Oh, I like alcohol, but I don't, you know,
no, right.
It's not
but the thing is, you know, when you're in that moment, in that period, it's easy to go and grab to try and kill the pain sometimes. Where do you go?
I go to the Lord.
I get it.
That's the only, he's the only thing that's kept my, he's the only source that's kept my sanity. When no one else was enough, or I couldn't find anybody to talk to, he's the one. And it's not to say that everything is rosy now.
Right.
I am going through other situations right now that have forced me to literally rely on Jesus for my next breath. You know, I mean, it's that deep, but I know he does. And the challenge is trust. That one word, that one little word, trust.
That's a big word.
That's a huge word, because that is the one word that affects your entire life. If you decide you're going to trust God no matter what the situation looks like, you will go through it, but you will go through it.
Do you say prayers with your daughter?
Yeah.
Before bed?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know, we sit there and she probably, and she prays for the same thing every night. She prays for her animals and this and that. And I think I have my little thing, the two, you know, just get us through. But at least we're instilling, you have to have some form of accountability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's crucial, because if you don't, then you're going to feel that there's no boundaries, and it will result in a very unstable outlook on life. Yeah. And you know, you will feel a warped sense of entitlement that is unchecked, and it will work to your detriment in the end. And that's why we have all these kids now running around can't handle anything because there's no accountability.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And everybody's with the why me, why me. It's not just you.
It's called life.
It's not just you.
You deal with it.
Yeah, life's a bitch.
Yeah.
But it could be, but I am.
It could always be worse.
Yeah, there's just, and I, I made a joke a few weeks ago. Somebody was, there's all these. I get these people that asking for donations all the time at the stores. And when I'm shopping, in one day, like I'll hit 3 or 4 stores in one day. I have to go get this, I get this, and they have the same type of people with these white little uniforms on at every store, and you can only do so much. And the one guy, I had it, and I go, you know what, thank you, but no, and he's in a wheelchair with no legs, and I go, all right, you got me, and I said that, what am I supposed to do? So you got me, I'm friggin' walking, all right, and even though it's not going directly to you, you got me, I'll give it up, because it always could be worse. We got to wrap it up. I got one thing I want you to do.
Go.
I want you to look into that camera, and if you could tell anybody anything of worth from your soul as to where we are, or where you're going, how you're doing, anything you want to say right now to leave them with, what would that be?
No matter what you think, no matter what you feel, no matter what you're going through, no matter what it looks like, and I mean no matter what, God loves you. And I don't mean in the fluffy sense, I mean in the absolute direct sense. Whatever your name is, you put your name in the blank and you say, God loves, fill in the blank. That's you. It's real. He's real. He loves you. No matter what you're going through, you will get through it. If you trust him, he will bring you through it. He will bring you through it. It looks and it feels like hell at times, and there's a whole bunch of cliches that you've heard before, but cliches most times have meaning. And I can just tell you, I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're at spiritually, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but all I can tell you is that Jesus loves you, and you have a purpose, and there's nothing too hard for him, and there's nothing that you've done that's too bad that will remove you from his love. So that's it.
As I promised, we hardly talked about any music whatsoever. But I don't want you to forget that besides us bringing this up today, which to me is a very special moment, I'm sitting with Greg Phillinganes.
And that and a quarter still won't buy you a stamp.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know. But here's the thing: I'm hoping that we don't go this long before I see you again. And if I get to where I'm trying to go with this whole deal, the next time we'll even be doing a little bit of music too, because music is how it all. I mean, it was my air. Never did I think I'd transition over to this side, kind of. But even people said Luke used a word I'd never even. He said the music business has been eviscerated.
He's absolutely right.
That's a great word.
Well, people mention the term music business to me, and my response is, what music business?
Exactly.
So
I mean, playing in a bar, if you want, a club, just to because you got to do. I've come full circle. It's like I'd almost play and don't care about money, just because that's how it originally started. You just loved playing.
I love playing, but make no mistake, I very much care about money.
I know. I know.
Because I have 3 kids now.
I get it. But I had to.
And they are not cheap.
I know. It was a beautiful day. I thank you for coming out of your way. I truly believe that these things don't happen by accident.
Absolutely
at least,
right.
Lately, I honestly, the path that has just derived from all this, there's a reason why we're sitting here.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
I believe it.
And there's a reason why you're watching this show. And if you are watching this show, I'm asking you people to keep sharing it and letting us know that you're there. Let me know what you think. A lot of good things are coming. We're growing. And I'm loving it. I'm digging it. I know we bitch a lot. I bitch a lot. But it's therapeutic, like I said.
Well, you get it out, and then you take that and you take the next step, and you move on from there.
And the jokes are free, babe.
And the jokes are free, and I mean
and I mean that too. You're the cat.
You are the cat's meow.
And how would he do it? I got my eye on you. I know, kind of clean, but they don't get to see that.
Yeah, I don't do it.
We're tired of it.
Well, I don't do it as good as Luke.
Luke, so, I know, but it all comes from there. As always, I love you guys. I want to thank Greg Phillinganes for coming out and spending the time. Major kudos. I forgot that. Yeah, I feel like it's for the explosion. I'm just glad to be able to do that. You know?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. Don't know what I got coming for you next, but I know what I got right now. Enjoy the moment. Take it. Learn something from it. Enjoy it. I feel there's a reason and a gift behind all this stuff. So, from me to you, thanks for watching the Peter G Show. Love you guys. Peace out.
Peter G Show.